probably should not say this, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay.
We're overvaluing thinking and smartness with stuff, right? So we think we know a lot of stuff about Yates rows and what to actually do, when the reality is we have very little clues about a lot of things that we're doing on a daily basis, right? And that's totally fine. But that's why you have to stop thinking at some point, have like the start point and the end point and the tension purpose in mind. It's like, that's all I'm going to quote unquote think about when I'm doing exercise. Relax my shoulder, pinch my shoulder blades together. And what I want to see is I want to engage my lats all the way down to my hip crease. That's all I'm thinking about.
Cool.
Sweet. And how can you say mobility and strength is the same thing? Actually, somebody asked me this yesterday. Because that is mobility. That is range of motion under tension. Think about the Yates row. What's the extreme starting point of your lats in the Yates row? Shoulder all the way forward, stretching here in your lats. And what's the end point of your lats? Right? That's literally pulling your shoulder blades together, because the lats is attached to the shoulder blades as well. And when you pull them in, that means you're going to squeeze it in and create more tension in it. That's exactly what we're looking for. So there's no difference between the skill of position and the skill of tension and mobility and getting stronger. It's all the same things. We just have to break it down into actionable, practicable, kindergarten level steps so people can practice it and we can teach it properly.
Yeah.
Do this with all big muscles and you're all set. Super easy.
I have a
Well,
question.
it makes sense. Yeah.
With
ahead.
this, then again, can we kind of like switch the equation to saying that, for instance, like the typically shortened muscles, like hamstrings, for instance, that they are probably just too weak and that they are not like shortened? Like I just know that from myself and from other runners, it's like the go-to that you're like, oh, my hamstrings are shortened. But is it really like the muscle is shortened? Is it just a weak muscle, if we're honest?
Okay, so here's the point. There's no such thing as, of course, there's perceived stiffness, right? There's no question about it. If I'm sitting all day and I'm trying to bend forward, like this is perceived stiffness. If I knock that person unconscious, the stiffness is gone. If you've ever seen like a boxing fight and like if you got hit and actually get KO'd, you're like jelly,
Like a noodle.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, you're jelly. So you're just bending over in positions and nothing breaks, right? I mean, you probably have brain damage, but it's a different story. But there's no bones breaking, there's no ligaments tearing, there's no tendons snapping, zero, right? So there is no stiffness when you're unconscious. That means there's a reason for stiffness when you're conscious. And what is the reason? The practical application is the muscle. Okay, so your body makes it stiff because it's more advantageous for making a joint stable. A stiff muscle, that means a short muscle, is a stronger muscle. So you have to earn that, whatever you want to call it, range of motion, attention, mobility, strength. You have to earn it. You have to literally prove to your body, okay, this makes more sense now. So you can let go of that stiffness and actually, whatever you want to say, make me more mobile. That's the reason why I train a yogi the same way as a stiff bodybuilder, because the principle is the same. Because the yogi, or a very flexible person, lacks tension, and the bodybuilder lacks the skill of position. And if I train the skills of position and tension at the same time, I can help those two people literally at the same time. It's just a different focus on it. So the yogi doesn't need to train strength, and the bodybuilder doesn't need to train whatever, flexibility and stretch all day. No, we train both of them, the skills of position and the skills of tension. And that's why I think defining words is so essential, because just telling the yogi, get stronger, or telling the bodybuilder, like, get more mobile, this is not actionable. Like you go home, you cry, and you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So a weak muscle, stiff muscle is a weak muscle, or vice versa. So the only way we can long-term get rid of stiffness or less mobility, whatever you want to call it, is actually train the skills of position and tension, getting stronger, getting more mobile, whatever that typically means for you. What we're seeing is, and that's the hard part about it, if you do the stuff that's out there, like stretching and mobility work and foam rolling, it helps short term, right? But that effect is like gone in like 5 minutes. Because why do you have to keep doing the same mobility exercises every single training session? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my point of doing Yates rows with 80 kilos is that I do that for a certain period of time, and then I don't have to do them anymore because I want to do 85 now. That's a point of training. But why do I have to do the same mobility exercises over and over again? On the contrary, maybe some of you out there know, all of a sudden you have to do either more mobility exercises or do them longer to get the same effects out of it. I've been there too. Like I've taken like 30, 45 minutes before squatting to get my mobility work in. And I didn't question it at the time. And that's fine because there was no other solution or an offering of a solution out there. But logically speaking, this doesn't make any sense. So the only long-term results we see, if you teach your body certain positions filled up with certain tension, and that's going to get rid of your stiffness or weakness long-term, and it's going to stick. And that's the beauty of it. Mm-hmm. Like I was probably the most, back in my CrossFit crazy days, I was probably the stiffest person on earth because I'm not a natural athlete whatsoever. So I have an easy time creating tension, but I have a hard time getting into certain positions, right? And nothing helped. Yes, I went to the osteopath, the physio, I did my mobility work, and it kind of kept it in check, but I did not see measurable long-term progress in it. Once I stopped doing this and I trained the skills of position and tension, all of a sudden I need that stuff anymore. So I have more time, I have more progress. So I guess I keep doing it.
Well, that's the thing about us as coaches. We are learning stuff, doing stuff, and we are developing our skills. And that's it. Back then, you were stiff, you said that, and you had only that information that you had to do that mobility exercises, blah, blah, blah. But now you have some other information, you have practically applied that, and you see that it works and it makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm not blaming anyone out there. I'm blaming me for not writing that book earlier, right? That's on me. I should have started this process like years ago, whatever. I'm doing it now, so I'm offering a different solution. And the fun part is, and I actually wrote this today in the fourth or fifth edit of the book, was let's do another one. Let's do the textbook and knees out explanation, because I wanna show you guys out there that this is not about right or wrong. We can both be right and talking about rotation and mobility and flexibility and range of motion and tension, and also talk about the skills of position and tension. This is just a tool to execute that stuff so we can learn that faster. So that's the beauty of offering a different solution is there don't have to be any discussion about right or wrong. We're both right. I'll give you a practical example. In an anatomy example. So in the textbook, the pec major is an internal rotator of the shoulder.
Yeah.
Right. That's what's in limit. And it's not wrong. All right, I'm going to offer you a different perspective in my training world, not in that body's world, in my training world, where it's about activeness and skill of position and tension. Okay, we're gonna try this right now. Okay, squeeze a bottle like this, right? Until you feel your pecs engage, right? Okay, squeeze as hard as you can and hold it for 60 seconds, right? What happens here? Yeah, just keep pressing. Okay, what happens to your shoulder? Is it rotating in or out? So that's internal rotation and that's external rotation.
Yeah, it's inward.
So that's what everybody's saying, but it's not, right? So when you press, your shoulder actually rotates outside.
It's out, right? Yeah, outside.
Exactly. So when you press, your shoulder is not doing this. When you're pressing, your shoulder is going in the other direction. Yes. Press your elbows in as well. There you go. The further you go up with your elbows, the more your shoulder is going to rotate inwards.
Yeah.
Right? So that means a textbook definition of the pec major muscle of being an internal rotator is the opposite as what's obviously happening in training. So when I engage my pecs, my shoulder rotates to the outside. Both are right because that's literally happening. We just tested it. And in anatomy pecs, this is also right, but it's a different context. And in my world of training, it's all about controlling muscles that move bones, right? So we have to have that active approach. And that's the beauty. This doesn't have to be a debate of this world and this world. We're both right. And both concepts will help people make progress faster. So let's keep improving it. I love textbooks, but not for training. So I'll write my own textbook so you guys can have less shoulder pain and bench press, whatever, 400 fucking kilos, whatever that is. I think that's enough for today. Great question, great discussion. Looking forward to your shirtless video. We're gonna post it everywhere on the internet. So you have to deal with the comments.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Okay. Thanks for joining. And as always, bring on the questions. It's fun. It's fun for me. I love doing that stuff. Bring it on every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Send me a message, send letters, send whatever. Planes. Here we go. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.